Hello everyone, welcome to Home Cooking with me Hema Subramanian. Today I'm going to share 4 wonderful tomato-based recipes which are very different from each other and you will absolutely enjoy it. They also make for a perfect meal, so let's get started and check it out. So for the tomato dosa, I've soaked about 3/4 cup of raw rice. It's a 250 ml cup measurement. So I've taken 3/4 of that cup and I've soaked it for about 2 hours. So I've soaked half cup of urad dal for about 2 hours. So 125 ml cup measurement. To the mixer jar, just transfer the soaked rice first. Next I'm adding about 8 byadagi red chillies. But if you're using the regular Guntur chillies, you can cut it down to about 4 or 5. Next add the soaked urad dal. Next I'm adding 3 medium sized tomatoes. Make sure the tomatoes are nice and ripe. I'm adding 2 cloves of garlic. Now garlic is optional. Those of you who don't like garlic, you don't have to add it. Just about half teaspoon of rock salt. Just pulse it a few times. Open the mixer jar and mix the ingredients once. Now if you notice, I'm not adding any water at this point. Since there is a lot of moisture in the tomatoes, it's sufficient to grind the batter. So I'm going to check the consistency of the batter now. So if you look at the batter, it's a little coarse, it's a bit grainy. So I'm going to grind it one more time. So I have not added any water to grind the batter, but if you do need, you can add about 1 or 2 tablespoons accordingly to get that nice smooth consistency. Transfer the batter to another bowl. The tomato dosa batter is done. Let this rest for about 1 hour. After 1 hour, let's check on the batter. So I'm going to dilute it now. I'm just going to add a little water to get a nice pouring consistency. This dosa batter is not like the traditional variety wherein 8 to 10 hours of soaking and 8 hours of fermentation is required. This requires minimal hours of preparation, so probably you can plan for this for just about 3 hours prior and make this dosas immediately. We don't want the batter to be too runny or extremely thick. It should be a nice pouring consistency. Now let's start making the dosas. Heat a tawa. Once the tawa is nice and hot, pour a ladle of the dosa batter and just spread it across. After a few seconds, I'm just adding a teaspoon of ghee all around the dosa and on the top. Now if you don't want ghee, you can also use oil. That's up to you. Once the dosa is cooked, it's got this lovely golden brown color to it. Gently release it on all sides and flip it over. I wouldn't recommend storing this batter for more than a day because we have tomatoes in it. So make sure you grind it nice and fresh and consume it the same day. So there you go. You can see that delicious and tasty tomato dosa is ready to be served. Make sure you serve it nice and hot. I'm serving it with some nice coconut chutney and sambar by the side. You can enjoy it however you like. I've made 2 types of coconut chutneys. I'll give the link in the description. You can try those chutneys for this tomato dosa. Dosa is got a lovely taste of the tomatoes and it's so tasty and so different from the usual dosas we make. For the tomato rice, first I'm going to soak 1 cup of whole grain basmati rice. Wash the rice a few times, soak it with enough water and let it sit for about 30 minutes. To the pressure cooker, take 1 tablespoon of ghee, add about 1 tablespoon of oil. To the cooker, add all the whole spices, cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, star anise, add 1 bay leaf. For this recipe, I've taken 2 medium-sized onions, just slice them thin. Once the onions are transparent, add 2 large green chillies, cut into pieces. Next add 1 teaspoon of ginger garlic paste. Next add 4 medium sized tomatoes that have been chopped. Next add 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1 teaspoon salt and 3 teaspoons red chilli powder. You can adjust the spice according to your taste. Next add 1 teaspoon of garam masala powder. Just mix it all in. Next add the soaked rice. Just add a handful of coriander leaves. So after adding the coriander leaves, add 1.5 cups of water. So just gently mix it. Pressure cook for 1 whistle on medium flame. Wow, the tomato rice is cooked beautifully. Smells amazing, it's so fragrant. So here is a 10-minute tomato rice that you can quickly make if you're having your friends over, if you want to make something for yourself, a quick meal. You can see it's perfect. This is a wonderful recipe, super easy to make and extremely tasty. Here are all the ingredients to make the tomato kurma. So first I'm going to grind a masala paste. To the mixer jar, add half cup of freshly grated coconut. Next add 2 green chilies just roughly cut up. Next add 1 teaspoon of fennel seeds and 2 teaspoons of roasted chana dal. And just add a few whole spices, a piece of cinnamon, cardamom and a few cloves. Add a little water and grind everything to a nice fine paste. Transfer the ground masala to another bowl and keep this aside. To a nice wide kadai, add 3 tablespoons of oil. Now you can use regular cooking oil or gingerly oil. Add half teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1 bay leaf, add a piece of cinnamon, stone flour and a piece of maize. Just give it a quick mix. Next add 1 large onion finely chopped. Saute the onions till they've turned to a nice golden brown color. Next I'm adding a few cloves of freshly pounded garlic. Just peel off the skin and add the garlic pieces. Pound garlic will give a lot of flavor. If you want, you can also chop it a little fine. Add the pound garlic and a few curry leaves and saute it well. Once the onions have turned to a nice golden brown color, add 6 medium-sized tomatoes that have been roughly chopped. After sauteing the tomatoes for about 2 minutes, add 1 teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon turmeric powder, 2 teaspoons red chilli powder and 2.5 teaspoons of coriander powder. Mix everything well. You can adjust the spice levels according to your taste. So if you need to add extra chilli powder, you can add another teaspoon. You can see that the tomatoes are nicely mashed up. Now I'm going to pour 1 cup of water and mix it all well. Let this tomato gravy cook for about 10 minutes on medium flame. Close the kadai and cook it. After 10 minutes, all the raw smell has gone and the gravy is thickening a bit. You can see all the tomatoes are cooked beautifully. Now add the ground masala paste and mix everything well. You can see the curry has thickened a lot more. So we will have to dilute it by adding a little bit of water. I'm roughly adding about 1 cup of water. Check for seasoning at this point, and if you do need to add a little bit of salt, you can add it. Close the kadai and let the gravy simmer for about 10 minutes. tomato kurma is coming together so beautifully. It's extremely aromatic. So I'm just adding a few fresh coriander leaves to finish it off. So if you want to make something nice and easy with less possible vegetables, this is the one for you. It's a very quick and easy to make tomato kurma that pairs very well with chapatis, rotis, fulkas, dosas, idlis, or even with some pulao rice. It's a great tasting kurma with minimal ingredients, and I would recommend you to definitely try this. I'll give you a couple of links to the other curry recipes that I've made earlier. You can check them out as well. First, I'm going to mix the dough for the parathas. For this, take 2 cups of wheat flour. To this, add half teaspoon of carom seeds, half teaspoon salt, pour enough water and mix the dough. Knead the dough for 10 minutes till you get a nice soft palatable dough, and then rest it till we make the filling for the parathas. Now I'm going to make the filling for the parathas. Add 1 tablespoon of oil. To this, add 5 cloves of garlic finely chopped. Next, add 1 large onion finely chopped. Next, add 2 green chillies chopped. Once the onions are transparent, add 2 medium-sized tomatoes finely chopped. Next, add 1 teaspoon of salt. Now you can adjust the salt according to taste. Half teaspoon turmeric powder, half teaspoon cumin powder, 1 teaspoon coriander powder, 2 teaspoons Kashmiri red chilli powder. Cook the masala till it's nice and dry and all the raw smell is gone. Before turning off the stove, add freshly chopped coriander leaves. Mix it well. Cool the mixture, and then I'm going to make the parathas. Divide the dough into even sized dough balls. Next, I'm going to make the parathas. For this, dust the rolling surface with some flour. Place the dough ball. Gently roll it out. Make sure the sides are a bit thinner than the center. I'm going to place the filling in the center. Seal it. Make sure it's completely sealed before you start rolling it out. Dust with a little flour. Heat the tawa. Place the paratha. Cook on one side. Flip it over to the other. Once it's half cooked on both sides, add a little ghee. Keep the flame on medium and cook the paratha so it's cooked through evenly. Cook the paratha until it's completely done. Remove from the pan. Serve it hot. Next, I'm going to make a quick spice curd to go with the parathas. For this, I've taken 200 ml of curd. Whisk the curd till it's nice and creamy. To this, I'm going to add half teaspoon of chaat masala powder, half teaspoon of chilli powder. Add a pinch of salt and finely chopped coriander leaves. Mix it well and serve it chilled with the hot parathas.